doing well. Hey Ace, what's going on?
Hello, everybody. I'm good, Rizel. How you doing?
Awesome. I already see someone in the chat talking about yo, we are here. Thank you for coming through. Before we jump into everything, in terms of the technical stuff, I like to do a little bit of regular conversation. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
let me see what I can ask you. You're not even prepared. My bad.
No worries.
Oh, do you
Sounds
have?
fun this way.
Oh,
Do I have
sorry.
what?
Do you have Spotify by any chance? Because I know
Oh, yes,
Spotify
I do.
Unwrapped just came out.
Yeah, I do. But all of my top artists are like Afrobeat. So
That's
just
okay.
Burna Boy,
Tell us,
Davido, Ashake.
tell us the Afrobeat artist that put us on. All I know is Burna Boy, and I think that's more mainstream American.
Oh, yeah. There's Whiskey, there's Davido, there's Ashake. So Ashake is my number one. But what about you? How did yours go?
Okay, mine sucked because I don't listen to I don't pay for Spotify because I'm cheap. So it would just pick whatever song. Let's say you pick Drake and it's like, do you want to listen to Future? And I'm like, not right now, but okay. So
Gotcha.
mine was random Christian, Spanish Christian music. I'm like, what? And then also the other ones was Ice Spice and Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. I listened to a lot of girl rappers, but yeah.
Sounds fun, actually. Someone in chat is asking if your volume is low. It's clear to me, so I'm not sure if
My
uh yeah, on
mm,
Discord anyways, but yeah.
let me see. I don't know.
Vocrox, can you oh yeah, sounds low. That's weird. Can you hear me clear? Oh, it's clear, Rizal. I don't know if it's just you. I mean it's clear on Twitch, so it's probably something with Discord. Let's
Okay.
let's go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It looks like a pretty to me this looks like a pretty small audience, but I definitely wanted to take this
Yeah.
time to just explain protocols for folks, especially since we have all these hackathons going on and folks see there is confusion around protocols or all of this because it is new concepts and it's how exactly does all of this work. So for me, I think I will start by explaining what protocols are from my perspective and
Mm-hmm.
how they work, and then I would love to know from your perspective too. And
Sounds good.
sorry about the echo, Ace.
No, no,
I'll
it's fine. Also, if anyone has any questions in chat, in the audience, do not hesitate to ask. This is technically like an office hour, but we're just also walking you through like our thought process, debugging process, and our understanding of some of the available technologies, and we can have that conversation through chat back and forth. The goal is to provide as much value as possible to everyone. So feel free to just drop a message if you have to.
Yeah, that's true. Let me tell y'all the agenda too. The general
Mhm.
agenda is basically we're gonna just talk about what protocols are. We're gonna look at a particular protocol that one of our community members has built. It's called the blog protocol, and it essentially enables you to post a blog and share it with others. It's within a decentralized manner. Um, but there are parts of it that may not be working right now. They already told me the image, sending an image doesn't work. And I wanted to take this time to kind of just go through it, just start debugging it. Maybe we won't necessarily get to the end because this is only going to be a 30-minute stream, and then after that we have another stream after this.
Mhm.
We're just gonna go ahead and take that time just for you to see our debugging process. That way you're able to take those skills and be able to debug on your own.
Sounds good. We have someone in chat on Discord asking if you can create different DWNs with the same DID. So out of the box, you have like your local DWN and your remote DWN attached to your DID, but you can also have multiple web nodes scattered around the world, and you can connect all of this to your DID. I don't think it's straightforward right now, but it's something that is possible for you to eventually do. So yeah, you can.
Perfect. All right. Starting off with like if someone's new to this right now and they're like, I don't know what a protocol is or
Mhm.
DWN. So really quickly, DIDs, that's your identifier, stands for decentralized identifier, and that's like a replacement for like the whole like username and password thing. You go on a web application, your DID is automatically connected there and you don't have to be like, oh, I gotta log in to prove my identity. It picks up who you are and what like all that information about you through
Yeah.
like private keys and public keys. And then DWN, that's where you store all your data, decentralized web node. And then for protocols, that is that's still basically the mechanics of like how am I getting a chance to share that data? You hear people say that like using Web5 allows you to have control over who can see your data, and protocols are where that is able to happen. Like you can say, all right, I can say I only want ACE to be able to see a particular type of data. So maybe only messages or only blog posts I want ACE to see. So I can specify that a person with his decentralized identifier can see that through protocols. Is there anything you want to add or expand on, ACE?
Yeah, definitely. When I first started learning about protocols, there was a confusion that I had, and I think a couple of people also have it. And it's trying to understand how it is implemented, how it is enforced. So I think the best way to balance it out or explain protocols in Web5 would be a combination of course, your data schema for your database. So you're able to like configure your could be a MySQL or whatever the case is. You format the tables, user ID, and all of those things. But you're also able to combine this with the authorization aspect, right? So for example, if you're building an application with Laravel, you've set up your migrations, your database is all set. But in your code as well, you have to go like a long way to set up authorization and roles. Like, oh, this is the person that has access to this. This is the person that has access to this. So it's a lot of configuration. It's a lot of code to write and structuring, right? But with protocols, you're kind of combining both of these two things together. So you're able to set both the type, structure, and of course, and actions within a protocol. So a protocol is combining your database schema as you have it, but also combining your business logic in code onto how you give authorization and roles to other people. So if you're able to look at protocols with this light, you're able to like what's it called implement stuff that you would have done in the past. I mean, with Web2 backend technologies in a more cumbersome way. We're able to like compress this into a JSON file that just uses JSON to define like anybody that creates this document is able to read it. Anybody that creates this document or anybody that is a friend of the person that creates this document is able to write to it. Like able to use JSON to like point out some of these things. That is what protocols basically is, right? So you're setting the schema, you're setting the roles, you're setting the permissions, stuff like that. And just thinking about it that way. And if you now worry about implementation or enforcement, it's just all built into like the Web5 SDK itself. So when you are into DWNs, right? So when you have a protocol that you've installed, you have the confidence and you understand that going forward, if you're trying to write a data, you don't have to write like crazy logic to check. I mean, you will need to catch the errors, of course, but you don't have to write like crazy logic to implement rules and authorizations because your protocol has handled that for you. So if you look at it in that light, I hope it provides more clarity.
Perfect. I think that was a good addition. All right,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and take a look at the blog protocol that nearly July, who's a community member, made. Sorry about the echo again, Ace. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to the repo here and I'll put it up on a banner so that if folks wanted to follow along and see, oh, thanks, sorry, what we were referring to, you would get a chance to. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as well. Share screen, and I'll zoom all the way in for folks.
Yeah, so before we jump into actual coding in code, does anyone have any questions about protocols so far, especially with the explanations and implementation so far, basically? Anurag, yes, one of the direct compare. So basically, question is DWN like other databases like Firebase, MongoDB, and SQL? I'm inclined to say yes because one of the comparisons to DWN is like Firebase itself. So if you picture it that way, that would also provide clarity. So yes.
Yeah, I like that as a a way to think of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, you can store whatever data you want in there, but maybe the syntax looks a little bit different to be able to do that. And then, as opposed to something like SQL is more centralized and owned by other
Mm-hmm.
people, so you wouldn't have control over that, and you wouldn't be able to say, all right, only this person can be able to query this data, only this person will be able to see it. That's a good
Yeah.
question. Is there more questions, or should we
No, I
just?
think
That's
oh,
it.
that's one. Welcome, Nick. Hello, dear Sus. Welcome, Lena, to the stream. I ended up switching to my desktop and it sounds good. Oh, awesome.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and maybe before we look at the code, we can just like actually run this project
Yeah.
so we can see how it works and it's not like, okay, what are we looking at? Let me drag this over. We don't have like too much time, but I think it's like just a good starter to be like, all right, here's how we would go through this. And where is it say block? Here we go. I have a lot. All right. So here's what like the UI that Nearly July set up. We can see that, and I'll open up the inspect tab. We can see that at the top we have like this heading that says set up a protocol. I mean, testing a blog protocol. But um, in order to set this all up, you do go through this process of having to install a protocol and configure it. The reason why you need to do that is that sets because the protocol sets the agreement between two DWNs on like how the data should be shared and interacted with. You have to basically install it and say like, yes, this is what I want. Like I want this protocol in my application or within my DWN. I want to follow these rules. So the way that she set it up, which is I think really interesting, is like you can click this button. I think that goes ahead and installs it. Then you do a query just to check if it actually worked, and I guess it did. And then after that, you just see if you have your did, which is like an interesting like flow because I never did this before. Ace, I usually like have it automatically happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this.
same. I just have like a function in the background that just runs it. But I think this is a very step-by-step explanatory way for people to understand the different steps in actually implementing like a protocol. So you define the protocol in your JSON file. You can have it in a, can you show the code real quick? You can have it in a separate JSON file, especially if you have like a multi-page application. And then you can always import the JSON file for your protocol, right? Um, yeah. So you can have this entire block just as a JSON file that you can import if you are building a multi-page application, for example, or you can just have it in your page or directly in your script if necessary. But basically, it shows the step like you define it, you configure it, you can go back to the browser, and then you check if it's actually running. Another step that you can do to avoid maybe like configuring it is checking if what's it called is already installed. So that's another step that I check. Or if you want a query is already installed, and you just skip that entire step. But since we are just running this locally right now, we can go through these steps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll stay on the code just a little bit longer because I feel like it went
Mm-hmm.
fast. But yeah, like for like we already saw the definition. This is where they've like set out like, okay, this is our protocol URL. And remember, this doesn't have to be resolvable. We set publish to true, that way other people can use it. And then we set our types. Like the different types of data we're gonna have within this blog is we're gonna have handle comments, we're gonna have blog posts, we're gonna have images, and we're gonna have video, and then you structure it. So each blog, there's a blog post. I don't think there, oh yeah, each blog post has a comment. So like you would nest it underneath. Then you also have images and video as well. And here's the function where they do the configuration or installing the protocol. And then this is the querying it. So basically it just checks the DWN and it's like, does this protocol with this protocol path test 3 exist? If so, it'll return it. And then that's all that happens. And then here's where you can see your did. I guess they like set the did somewhere up here. Maybe when they do Web5 Connect. Let's see. Web5. Yeah, right here. They do Web5 Connect and they get the did and set it there. Okay, cool. Moving forward. Do you see questions in the chat or anything? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I was saying we can proceed. No questions at the moment.
Cool. So I'm gonna try out just creating a blog post myself, just so we can see if y'all are using, if you all have this running and opened up, like you literally just have to like use that repository I gave you and just click on the index.html. But like, let's say I'm gonna say my first blog post, blog on stream. Hello, I'm on a stream. Let me know if there's any questions. I was double checking the Discord, but I didn't see any. And then I'll press publish, and it gives us the status of accepted, which I'm assuming means like it's in there now. Now, the way it's set up is like you could read like your blog or someone else's blog by pasting in the DID. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just copy this. Hopefully that works. Someone says, please can, yeah, we're going to get to that. To us debugging that. And by the way, since we only have like a little bit of minutes, I'm not expecting that we'll finish that, but precious codes will definitely help you in Discord after if we don't get to that. So, all right, cool. We have like all these blogs that I wrote earlier, but we do see that my first blog on stream is here. So we've seen that I'll show y'all that images doesn't work, and then we can try to like just go through how
Debug it.
to debug it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and be like adding an image, images. Hello, adding an image, and we're gonna choose the file.
You have
And
probably a small sized image.
I don't even know what's a good size. I just have random
I
screenshots.
think that's fine. 100 kilobytes is nice.
Okay, I'll do this one. And then I'll clear the console and I'll
Yeah.
press publish. I think what's happening is, so it says it's accepted, but when I say read blog to get these images,
Yeah. So can I read properties of undefined
yeah,
protocol?
yeah. So let's go to the code and like let's figure out.
Cannot read properties. Uh, let
Yeah, cannot read
let me open the link on my end as well. 1 second.
record ts.194. And I think I put it to you in a gist as well. That way you can like
Is
just
is it the same code?
the send code you said?
Is it the same code as there's in the gist?
Yeah, it's the same. Oh, it's the same code. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So let's see.
Is the how we are fetching the image or the because it's basically within the same thing.
Yeah.
But um
Read.
yes, let me copy the link for this
Oh,
code. 1
yeah.
second.
Thank you. And let me see what's in the chat. Hey, can you share this code? Oh, no, you just did it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think the question is when they're fetching the data, are they like doing the text, the JSON? Because I'm guessing because it works if it's just text, but when an image is like part of it, that's when we get the error. So
Yeah,
let's take a look at the query to fetch. Yes.
here it is. So once they do it, there's like a read blog method. And
Mhm.
I remember um I remember something that Daniel was saying, and he was saying that it needs to be like for images you need to do .blog. So
Oh
maybe that's
yes.
part of the problem.
So I
Oh,
think this is I have an idea now. Do I? Oh, we'll get to it in a second.
go ahead.
um,
Give me your
so
idea.
there's a question in chat real quick. Is there a way to persist the record? So everything you create in the DWN should persist unless you clear your storage, your local storage. So closing and opening your browser is not supposed to like unpersist. It does a word your record, right? So it should be there. Maybe there's something else happening in the background. We can look over that together on Discord. But it persists by default. That's why it's a data store. So now up there we can see that they're fetching the blog post one way and then the images the other way.
Yeah.
I would say we should log, of course, blog post records and log image records, like just in general, to see. And you don't have to put await on the console.log. Um,
Yeah, I don't think I did that. I
yeah.
think it
So I
was
think we
all.
should log blog post records and then log image records and see what we get. And then, oh yeah,
Because
that's a good call out, Precious. If it doesn't persist, the browser is probably in incognito. You can watch out for that as well. Thank you, Precious. So I think the understanding for this is that when we have like stuff like images and stuff under like a blog protocol, the blog text is still created, but the images, depending on how it's stored or the relation is defined, has to be fetched a second way. So I think once we test this and see what is logged, we can take another moment to go through the structure of the protocol to see how it's defined and connected. All right. So the blog post record is empty. Okay, no. Right. So the blog post records are 5 and the image records are 2. But somewhere just after image record, that's when we get the error.
Sorry, I was muting myself so that like you didn't hear the echo. And I
Yeah.
think that makes sense that there's two because I've only sent two. I'm just trying to figure out, let's see what other things might have happened. Image records. Okay. What about when it's turned into a blob? I didn't see
So,
this come out.
hmm. Is there a reason we're doing a promise? Just curious.
Mm. I usually put mine in a promise. You don't because
I don't.
oh, interesting. I put it in a promise. Okay, because first it's like this like record object or array or whatever, and it's hard to
Yeah.
like, handle. So I put it in a promise and turn it into some JSON, and then I'm able to handle it better. So maybe that's why they did the same thing.
Yeah,
But
because I think the error we are getting now is uncaught in promise, right? Can you go back to the error page real quick? Because right now what I'm seeing is we are getting the image records, we are getting the blog post records, but there's something else we are doing that is causing the error. We're unable to read something that's undefined, but I can't tell what line that is. So maybe we should go back.
yeah,
Somebody in chat
because
said, can you take a look at line 266? Right?
266.
Yes. Taking a look at that. So it says store false. I think store false is. I'm trying to remember what that means actually. Let me check the API real quick.
It was like something like it wouldn't store it for somebody else, like in one
Yeah, I
person's
think so too.
equation, but it would in the other.
I remember right now. See if I can find it in the. Honestly, can't remember what that attribute means. But yeah, if you take a look at the protocol is also different. Can I see the protocol definition, the protocol URL? Okay, so the protocol URL, the protocol is list, but there's somewhere else that are not using the URL. They're just putting a string.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what are you saying? You're saying that when they request it or when they
Yeah,
do a
so look at this. You see, protocol is just test3 and not the URL up there. Just like a bit up. Yeah.
which line are you looking at? I don't
Yeah, I'm
see
looking at it, like keep going up a bit.
it. Oh,
Yeah,
right
so that
there.
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Well, that might not necessarily be an issue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so store first doesn't save the image locally. I see.
Ah.
So yeah, let's go to the promise. Clear what's it called? Uh the arrow in the
Console.
browser, yeah, and then we try and log something right after we fetch image and see what we get.
Okay. So I think I'm
Yeah,
logging this
yeah,
as soon as we
yes.
fetch it. Okay, okay.
So we go to the promise, right? That's the next step, and that's where we're getting the error.
Oh,
So with the promise, we're doing blog post records. I'm guessing that's a top level variable.
yeah.
And then we had
So the log.
then we push the ID, we push the so element dot data. So where are we assigning blog post records? That's from the DWN actually directly. I see. Okay. So image records are for each. Hmm.
Yeah, they're turning it in. They're taking those records because it returns as a promise for them to actually like handle
Yeah.
it. They turn it into JSON, and then after that, they need to do the same thing for the image records. What happens? Okay, this is all
So I see that they're changing the image to blob. Is there anywhere else we went from like did it reverse before starting in the DWN? On line 371.
I didn't understand the last part of your question because
Yeah,
I
so
do
on
see
line
that they're turning
371.
it into the. I do see that they're turning it into a blob, but I didn't hear what the last part.
Yeah, so on line 371 they're turning to a blob. But before storing it, did they like convert it from a blob, or how did they store the image in the
Mm. I don't know. That's why I put this console log right here.
yeah, so
So
let's look at
what
the
happened?
create record query, just to be sure.
Create. Or did you use right? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Okay.
That's for blog post. Where's the
So
one
how did
for
they create the
email?
image?
Yeah. Ah, here it is. So they do the image format. Okay, JPEG. Maybe because is it because it's only supporting JPEG and not the others? I gotta make sure to pick a JPEG one.
That is possible because I think there's a part where there might be a different data format for a blob, but I'm not sure. I'm checking that right now. Let's see. Yeah, I think image JPEG is fine. Let's run the code now and see the console log that you added.
Gonna do that right
Run check.
now. New image. I'm not gonna put that option on. Hello. And then I'll put that same image I had before. I have like mad random screenshots.
There's something around 100 kilobytes.
Yeah.
But you
I'm
can rename one of the screenshots so that when we come back to it, it's easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I'm just gonna say you hello. Whatever, it's called I. So I'm gonna use that.
Okay. Where's
Mm,
I?
yeah, I don't know what happens. Here we go.
Gotcha.
All my memes. All right. Let's see. So it was published, and then when we press read, all right. I don't see any of those console logs.
Yeah, but my
Wow.
concern right now is it's saying uncut 18 times, which is probably 6 times 3. So
Mhm.
it's going through the blog post, and for each blog post, it's going through all the three images to compare something, and that's where the error is happening, right? Um, but your console logs are not coming up. The new ones you added are not coming up. Anurag made a suggestion in chat for us to like right after changing into blob. I think that's on line 377 ish. We should console.log the result. But basically, everything the error is happening when we are trying to connect the image to the blog post. So there's something we're missing there, right?
I'm already printing that out.
Oh yeah, you are. But it's
Yeah,
not getting there, right? It's not
yeah,
getting
it's
down
not
to that
even
console.
getting to the promised.
So
Yeah.
so it's not even getting to this is the element. I think there's an error right at the beginning of the of the promise. Can we not make it a promise? Like just make it a regular loop, a regular map without
Yeah.
promising quote.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Uh, trying to remove all the stuff.
Yeah, let's just take it step by step, I guess.
I think I want to just see what happens if it's just a blog and not the rest, not the image records and everything. Let me comment all this out.
I mean, without images, oh, I see.
No,
Yeah.
just to see like how come it's not getting into this at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is so interesting. Hold on. Image records. Comment this out. And then.
Oh, so you still keep the promise. Okay. Do you still want to keep the promise?
What happened?
Do you still want to keep the promise?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I'm trying to take it out. But I'm like, how will they? What do we? Okay. I always do a promise. So I'm like, what? How do you do it where it doesn't um need a promise? Because I feel like you need it to be able to convert it into JSON. You just do a loop and that's it.
Yeah, I just do a loop like for records in records, something like that. 1 second.
Oh, let me look
um,
at how you do it in.
yeah, so I had it like in the share to do ish.
Yeah. Share to do somewhere in here. Index.
No, in pages. Yeah. There should be one down here. Yeah,
Interesting.
I just do a
Oh, you
loop and
do?
yeah.
I'm about to copy this.
Oh, Daniel is here. I just heard the voice. Oh, 1 sec. Can we send a link to Daniel to join the stream? 1 second, because I think he's on Discord. I heard his voice, but I can't talk to him on Discord. So 1 second. Where is he? Yes, it is Daniel.
Oh, I realized I was muted and no one can hear me. Sorry.
Oh, he sent a StreamYard link on Discord. But yeah, I think I just do a loop. But I would say we can proceed with promise and remove the where we are connecting the image records and see if it still gives an error.
Okay, cool. And he's
Yeah,
here.
that is it.
Adding you in.
Hey there.
Hello.
Yeah, so did you see what we were struggling with?
No, not yet. I mean, this is cool because I'm actually doing sort of a blog post app as like a really built out one. So yeah, if there's anything that I can help with.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what's happening? So we're looking at a blog post protocol that was created by a community member, but what's happening is the images aren't showing up. It's not able to read the images. All we get is this error that says uncaught and promise error. And then
Okay. Yeah, this is an issue that we've fixed in main. And the way to get around it is to do it like, I guess you're probably doing that like helper method thing where you go like data dot whatever, and I'm guessing, yeah, that blob thing where you get the record and you're like, okay, go get the data for it. You have to do an explicit read call just for right now. It's fixed in main. This is an issue that was introduced because sync was like someone left off a type thing on the sync side. So like sync is like, okay, well, this is not like an allowed property whenever I get this message. So it's just like causing it to bomb out. But it's fixed in main, and that's what we're trying to push as an update to all of the library and the external stuff. But for now, instead of calling the helper method that's like .data blob, you have to just call read, like records read, and then take the ID, of the, well, it's not read on that, but like do the Web5 records read, yeah, just like one of those, but read, right?
Yeah, for each of the no, I think you still have to query it.
Yeah, you still have to query because you're effectively getting it's annoying, right? Because you're effectively having to get the ID of the thing that you want to go actually request the bytes for, is effectively what's going on.
So I'm guessing instead of doing element.data.blob, we do element.data.id.
Yeah, and then just do
read.
records.read. It's annoying. I'm sorry. I have this in my code right now too.
Does it come with the 0.8.3 release, like the fix?
Yeah, we just do alpha.
Yeah, the main has it, so that's why I switched over so I can pull some of this out. But main has it, and But if you wanted to do it here and fix it, it would be element.id, not data ID.
Oh, gotcha.
And then you don't need to await it. And then, and it's just getting that ID, and then you just do a records read as the next line.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to get it. Which is, I mean, yeah, it sucks that we have to do this temporarily, but for the code that's out there. But so yeah, if you put like filter, record ID is going to be that ID from the top. Filter.
Gotcha.
Sorry, co-pilot's coming in.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Like, get out of here. All right.
Yeah, so I think once we have the const image result, it goes to element ID. We'll probably change it from image result to image ID.
Yeah.
And then have image result is goes to await the Web5 call.
And the reason, just for the people listening,
Yeah.
the reason why this looks different, and again, it's almost like Web5 is exposing to you the realities of what's actually going on in other apps, even in Web2. Because if you think about like a GitHub like image object, right? They probably have an API call that says like get images from, you know, blog post or comments or something, or just like a blog. Better example is actually a blog post. Like I bet in WordPress there's like a call to like get a blog post, and the blog post itself might be a JSON object, like it's going to be text and stuff like that. But the images are binaries. So what you would typically find in like their API probably is a JSON object that has a link to some GUID that stands for an actual file on HTTP. And then you have to go do the actual HTTP request, and the browser does that for you and then sends the bytes back to the image tag, right? Now Web5 is much more low level. So it's like saying, okay, well, you have the ID, but you don't actually have the binary stream. So if you want to call something to get the binary stream of that, like whatever that is, image, PDF, whatever it is, you got to go call to actually explicitly get the binary stream, as opposed to the surrounding like metadata object of the binary stream. So it's just something that's like, it's a convention. It looks different, but it's actually very similar to what's going on in today's web. So did that produce a read when you did record ID?
I think we got a little closer, but it also says element.id is not a function.
Let's see here. Okay, so records, image records. So you've got a record there. Oh, record ID. I don't think it's not a function. Probably it's probably. I think it's just a property maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it should work.
That makes
you don't need the rest of that filter stuff either. The message. So the filter is an object. So that's an object with a record ID in it. So make filter an object instead of just directly setting the value.
Wait a minute. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, so erase message. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. No, don't erase message. Put filter in message and make.
Oh, duh. Sorry. Go ahead.
Make it an object. So it's an object.
Yeah. Then record ID underneath.
Record ID is the property, and then you'll. Yeah. Because you're. I mean, message reads take a filter too, because you can read by path. So yeah.
I don't think you need to add protocol.
You don't need protocol or any of that stuff. It's just doing a straight read. This is basically telling. So for people listening, what records read does is it says, give me the exact ID of a record. And what I'm going to do is, my job is to go get a binary stream of whatever it is. It could even be JSON. I mean, it just looks at every record it has as a binary stream, the data to it. And that's what read does, is just delivers you the binary stream. Whereas query delivers you the record metadata objects. It like gives you the surrounding, you know what I mean? Like the more of the backing metadata versus the direct stream. Yeah, so you do that. And then the irony here is that when you get that record, you're going to actually call .data.blob on that. And this is how you do that. So to understand what's actually happening is query is doing this internally. Like when you call on a large file that's over 30K on query objects .data.blob, it's actually doing what we just wrote internally. It's just covering it up for you. It's just not, exposing you to all that crap that you have to write.
Okay, so just for clarity, on each image result, I have to call .data.blob on it?
Yeah, you got to do this process of doing a read, because the reality is we don't know, and I'll tell people on the phone, there's a 30 kilobyte cap on data that will come back with the queries. So if something is 30 kilobytes or under, it'll just come back with the actual query objects. And over 30 kilobytes, we force you to go and do a direct stream read. And the reason why we do that is because typically if you're going to return data, it's usually structured data, and structured data doesn't go over 30 kilobytes an entry typically. I mean, that's a very large JSON object. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff in there. And if it is in Web 2, again, this is very much like Web 2, you're going to go usually fetch the data associated, right? If something is a very large thing, you're going to do a direct like window.fetch, and you're going to go get that thing, and it's going to be evaluated as whatever the codec is. And that's exactly what we do here.
I think you should switch record for reading image, Rizel, because it's a single record.
Yeah.
You can leave it as reading image.
You need to have that in braces, I guess, the record, because it's going to come out as it's an object. So up.
No, the
372. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm not good at like thinking and listening. I'm like, what am I doing?
Wait.
So on line 372.
Yeah, 372.
That has to be destructured.
Yeah. It's multiple destructured. Yeah.
And
then that should just be like record. Yeah, that should. I think that'll work.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Let's go back and paste.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing, because I guess not knowing that I think that error existed in the background, we're just trying to debug something else.
Yeah.
Okay,
so data. All right. This is the image of the record. Is this the image of the record ID of the image, or is it the record ID of like the blog entry, for instance?
Element. No, it should be for the record, for the image.
Yeah, it should be.
On line 368, we are.
Wait it. So you got to wait the record blog thing.
Oh, gotcha.
And then same thing up top with Web5 DWM. There you go. Okay. So that's cool.
That should work.
Hopefully that's it. All right, come on. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, I thought that was no red.
Close. I know. I thought it was 382.
Okay.
Recording data.
All right, so let's check it out. We got record. That's right. Records read. Message filter. Await data blog. Image result. This is the image result. Huh. This should work.
Do you want me to print out anything?
Yeah, I mean, let's see what that ID is. That ID, like, I guess that would throw an error. I mean, you could print the status up in const, like in the destructuring. Maybe there's something that came out of that's wrong. And maybe log the record itself, or you were already doing that, maybe, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we can log both the record and the status.
Yeah.
There we go. I have so many windows open. Okay. Let's try again.
All right, here we go.
Paste. Oh.
Yeah, soon the DIDs will be smaller with the DHT stuff. It'll be 32 bytes, so it'll be.
Are you still compressing the DID documents with the DHT stuff?
Yeah, they're definitely going to be not found. Okay, so that's an explicit error. And the ID is there too. Is it passing an ID? That might have something.
Yeah, might be passing the wrong ID.
Yeah, I don't think I printed out the ID. Let me see.
Okay, let's check that. Yeah.
Log image ID. At around 11:50 though, we do have to wrap up the stream, because I do have another stream with the Decentralized Identity Foundation, but I did want to just start this off so people can see how they can like go ahead and debug.
And I also have this blog app that at the end, I'll try to get published this today. So you guys can see it has all this stuff. It's got big posts and, all this stuff kind of working. I mean, I was in the middle of breaking it, but I could see if it still works and show people if they want to.
Perfect. That would be awesome. It did grab the record ID so this says this is the element for images, and then it grabbed the record ID, but when it's returned, it returns as undefined.
It's not found.
Okay.
Do we need to put
Yeah.
a parent ID? I don't think you need to do that for read, right?
Yeah. The what? What? Say again?
Parent
I'm
ID?
asking if you need to put like a parent ID or like the context. But I don't think you need to do that
No,
for
no,
entire
record
page.
direct.
Yeah.
Every record is distinct, so you should be able to
Yeah.
get that without it. But I can here. Let me show them. Like, I don't know if I can. Do I just present? Okay.
Yeah, press present. If you have you ever used StreamYard, hopefully it doesn't have to make you quit and leave.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's probably going to work here. Cool. Can you all see or
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Probably zoom in a
Yeah.
bit.
So I just said I was in the middle of debugging something. So if something doesn't work, then that's something that I was testing.
Can you zoom in a bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. So is it visible? Pretty good? No.
One more,
So
I guess.
I was effectively making this blog post, and it has like this draft capability, and you can like create new drafts, and you can do editing. So all this good stuff, and put in like code things like JavaScript, like var foo equals 1, and it'll print everything, and you can save them, and it's got your like little preview and stuff, and then publish them, and
It's so cute.
good stuff. So it has feeds, and yeah, there's like the new blog post just showed up, and all of this is using DWN. So like I'm doing records read to get these images, for instance, and so to show that off a little bit, like what I'm doing, I can I made my own little component for the for like images with Web5, where you can just put in
Zoom in on your code. StreamYard, zoom in on your code. StreamYard makes like the view really fuzzy.
Okay.
So
Okay. So where do I do my? Oh, I probably do my fetch elsewhere though. So let me go into where is it? Profile card. Okay. So here's where I'm doing my fetch, right? So with read avatar, I'm basically just create a wrapper called read avatar where I give someone a did, and then down in my data store section, I have a read post read avatar, and this is kind of like this is the read avatar one down here. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so this is what I'm having to do. This is the annoying part right here. So like don't pay attention to this caching. That's just me caching the stuff. But this get avatar, this is doing one of those queries that you had to do, right? The query first, and then now I'm doing this read. All of this goes away as soon as we update the server and stuff. So you could just do like the record that comes out of this, you would just be able to skip this middle part, right? And then be able to just do like that. That's the thing that you're running into right now. So, but yeah, it changes here. Whoops, that was not correct. So this is reading an avatar, and that's exactly what's happening on the screen in my app when you're seeing what this happens.
Can you go back there one sec? Let me take a screenshot just that we can reshare for like. Can you go back to the code? I just want to take a screenshot.
Oh, yeah. Can I go? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Got you.
And then when you take it as a blob, you're gonna have to again. This is
I
just
got it working from looking at your code. We didn't have a from.
Yeah, I figured. So it's working now, yeah?
Yeah.
If it's your own avatar, yeah, that might be it. If it's your if you don't put from in, it's gonna assume that you mean the DWN user in that context. Which if it's a blog post, I guess you're saying it's probably from someone else, right? It's like someone else.
So I think the issue is we're using the DID, but we have a store false earlier. So I'm guessing it's only storing the image in the remote DWN if that's the case. If we have a store false. Which is probably why we needed to add the from to the.
Yeah, I always just do sends after all my like storages. I just do like record send, and if you do that, then you're pretty good.
Awesome.
But yeah, a lot of this gets simpler. So I'll put this out in the community, and I'll highlight this code section because if people are trying to do that part of the blog thing, they'll see this. Yeah. And then as it like next week when we have this stuff out, I'll amend this, and I can post a snippet of how small this gets after we repair the.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you. That was really, really helpful. I want to quickly do like a little wrap up and conclusion because I know Lamari is waiting on us. I see her message us in the Twitch. So if you are waiting on me, go look in Discord. I messaged you the link that you needed me to on, and I told you we would be there in like a few minutes. Like literally right after the stream, we're gonna meet on something called StreamYard. I send you the link, and then we will just test like your audio and fix mine, and then we'll go online. But just to quickly like go over what just happened and why we were having an error. One is that like I guess there's a bug that they're fixing in main, so we won't have to do this in the future. But if you're currently working on this, what you need to do, if I could correctly remember, is grab the ID of that image, and then you do thank you so much, Daniel, again. You do a read query for each ID, and it'll return that particular record or that particular image record, and then you change it into a blob, and then you'll be able to like paste it in there. So that's how you can do mixed records. Hopefully that's helpful. We can do a better like breakdown in the Discord. Thank you so much to Ace too for like bringing in Daniel, and we will let you all go. So but don't leave too long. In like 8 minutes, we're going to be talking to Lamari about what the Decentralized Identity Foundation is and how that all works. So
Awesome.
bye y'all.
Bye everyone. See you in a bit.